Hello and welcome to the ABCs and 1-2-3s when dealing with behavior. By the end of this presentation, you will understand why a behavior exists, walk away with strategies on how to change that behavior, and develop tools that increase desirable behaviors. Our agenda today is brief. We'll start with a warm-up, discuss the ABCs, then move on to our 1-2-3s. Lastly, we will end with a brief review. I hope after this video you review the workbook and share your discoveries with your colleagues or self-reflect. This video is meant to give a brief introduction to the basics of behavior management. The big takeaway here is that behavior does not exist in a vacuum. It serves a purpose. I hope to reframe your understanding of behaviors and offer some support. Here's a warm-up. I'm asking you to self-reflect. What are some common and less desirable behaviors that you've observed in yourself or others? Then ask yourself, why might individuals hold on to a behavior, even if it's less desirable? If you're stumped, ask yourself if you've ever procrastinated, or do you have a habit of pressing snooze too many times? Do you text while you drive? What about indulging in that extra piece of cake? Or maybe you put off things like cleaning to play video games. Guilty.
Okay, but why? Why do we hold on to behaviors?
Some common reasons are it's fun. It feels good. People get to avoid work, or maybe they continue behavior just because they're bored.
And our students are no different.
We could do the same activity with other behaviors that lead to a consequence that is desirable. For example, consider brushing your teeth. What do you gain from brushing your teeth? Well, we get to keep our teeth, we get to have a nice breath, we have a nice smile, and the list goes on. We keep brushing our teeth because it gives us an outcome that we desire. That's why when we talk about consequence, we don't necessarily mean something bad. There is something to be gained from a behavior, something worthwhile to the user. We need to think objectively about the behavior and the consequence and ask ourselves, what does the individual gain from continuing that behavior? A consequence is anything that immediately follows as a result of a behavior. Consequence does not necessarily mean a negative outcome. You need to ask yourself, what does the individual gain from continuing that behavior? Keep that idea of consequence in mind as we jump into our ABCs. A. Antecedent. What happened before the behavior? Consider the setting. Where is the behavior taking place? Consider the events going on. When is the behavior happening? And then consider interactions. Who is interacting with the individual? Here's some examples. During PE, transitioning to a different activity, moving from reading to math. Maybe you just told them to wash their hands. Maybe you asked them kindly to clean up. Perhaps another student approached. Maybe there is a specific adult nearby. It could be as simple as they don't like their sandwich. B. Behavior. What behavior do you observe? Be objective when describing this behavior. Leave out opinions, theories, and judgment. Here are some examples. Screaming and crying, throwing a chair, spitting on somebody, rips up their work, refuses to participate, or lying. C. Consequence. What happens after the behavior occurs? Is the child removed from the setting? Does the child get to avoid an event? How do others respond or react? Example. They get to leave class. They get one-on-one attention. They gain peer status. Perhaps it's a physical outlet. And they get to avoid work.
And again, if we ask ourselves why, we discover it's largely for the same reasons we continue our behaviors.
So we ask ourselves, how can we allow the same experience of that consequence, but encourage a different behavior? In this particular video, it's merely serving as an introduction. We won't get into the details on how to replace a behavior, but I do want to plant that seed. I want to provide some tools to start the process. That's why you also need to know your 1-2-3s. Number 1, relationship. Straight up, children are more likely to listen to you if they like you. Think about it. Are you more inclined to listen to your boss if you like them? Would you be willing to have more patience with somebody at the DMV if they were kind and friendly versus rude and not happy to be there? Or even think outside of people.
If you don't have a positive relationship with a dog and you call them, they're less likely to come to you. So here's a tool you can use to build a positive relationship. Find 2 uninterrupted moments throughout the day to talk about anything of interest that's not related to school. Do this for 10 days in a row. Examples of uninterrupted, not school-related comments could be, hey, I love your shoes, are those new? You're pretty energetic today. Have you tried sports before? What video games are you playing right now? What's your favorite anime? What kind of TV shows do you like? What's your favorite color? How's your sister?
Number 2, praise. There are multiple ways to praise a child. Focus on giving 5 praises to every 1 redirection. This will also help you build a positive relationship. Remember, 5 to 1.
It could be really anything. Thank you for sitting there quietly. Thank you for your patience. Oh, I love that quiet hand over there. Good job following step 2. I appreciate that you used your words. Nice job, hands behind your back. I like it. Wow, you haven't spoken out in 30 seconds. Good job.
Number 3, teach. Teach the desired behavior as you would teach a complicated math problem. Be explicit, scaffold appropriately, include visuals, allow time for practice, and allow room for mistakes.
Teach skills like how to wash your hands, how to accept consequences, how to accept no for an answer, how to ask for help, how to stand in line, how to express that you are stressed out, how to identify your feeling. What does anger feel like in the body? No matter what behavior you want them to do, the new, more desirable behavior must be explicitly taught. It is so important to teach these skills explicitly that I'm going to save how to do that for another video. All right, it's time to wrap up. Let's see if we've met our goals.
Understand why a behavior exists.
The ABCs taught us that the behavior exists to produce a desirable outcome or consequence.
Walk away with strategies on how to change that behavior.
First, you have to understand why the behavior exists, and we use our ABCs to do that. Next, you practice your 1, 2, 3s. Make sure you have a positive relationship. Make sure you praise all the desirable behavior that you see, an abundance of praise. Lastly, you need to explicitly teach them the behavior that you desire. Teach it as if you would any other subject that you're teaching.
And finally, develop tools that increase desirable behaviors.
You can build a positive relationship by increasing praise. Remember that 5 to 1 ratio. 5 praises for every 1 redirection. Practice your 2x10 strategy. Get to know the student outside of school. And then don't forget your ABCs and your 1, 2, 3s.